This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Bumper Radio. I'm Dave Riccio, here along with Matt Allen, and together we are your KTAR car guys, heard every Saturday from 11 to noon. Our job at Bumper Radio is to make sure you have a good car experience. So if you got car questions, and all of us do, give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. You can also text your questions to 411-923. Today on the Bumper to Bumper Roadmap, email of the week, open phones, and check engine lights. It is the first question we ask just about every caller on the show. They say, my car's doing this. Has a check engine light on.
Dave, no. Oh, there you go.
Is the microphone on?
I've got to push that little button and make it turn red before anybody can hear me. But what I'm laughing at is when you said, customers say my car's doing this, and you're shaking like nobody could hear that shaking happening. I guess that's what that was. Was that a misfire, a vibration?
That was definitely a misfire on the number 3 cylinder.
So you have to actually act it out as well, I guess.
You definitely have to act it out. But the check engine light, that's the first question, because what is the check engine light? People say, the light's on, you just plug into it. It tells us what's wrong with the car. And the check engine light is probably one of the more... Well, there's two types of people. There's the people that can ignore that light almost indefinitely.
Yeah.
And then there's the people that if that check engine light comes on, man, like you said, they slam on the brakes, they swerve across 5 lanes of traffic to get off the freeway and call their shop. Neither one is good.
Right. And what's funny, too, is it says check engine. Usually the, quote, engine is the last thing that needs to be checked. But let's start off a little bit of the history of the check engine light. It wasn't always a light. Some people that maybe had a General Motors car or a German car in the household might remember the old Chevrolets used to have a flag, a little orange flag at certain mileage would pop down and it'd cover up the odometer. And it said check engine.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Before my time.
Volkswagen used to have a light that would come on. It would say, I think it would say oxygen sensor. And all it was, there was a reset. The speedometer cable went up underneath the dash, or under the cowling, under the hood, I should say. And there was just a ticker in there, just a counter. And when that thing hit around 60,000 miles, boom, this mysterious light on the dash would come on. And what they wanted you to replace was the oxygen sensor. Because the whole idea here is we want to keep the car running well. That's why the check engine light was there. But back in the day, early 80s, the only thing that really had much effect on the feedback system or the control of the computer system was the oxygen sensor. And they were prescribed to be replaced around 60,000 miles.
Well, my neighbor, she called me up and she says, oh, my gosh, my transmission light is on. It sounded just like that, too. And so she's in a panic. She brings her car down. I give her the ride to work, and I get in the car, and it's not a transmission light. It's a check engine light. So I'm thinking people don't even know. Some people don't know what the heck is a check engine light, what the heck is a transmission light.
Well, she was confused because she thought to her the symbol resembled what she believes a transmission looks like, right?
And it's not even the symbol is the outline of the non-modern engine. I mean, engines really, from the perspective, they don't even look like that anymore. That's not a silhouette of the modern engine. But either way, it looks like an engine from 1978. It's the outline of it from the profile. And that's what a check engine light is. Some of them say service engine soon. That's a GM. A lot of the old GMs said service engine soon. I'm trying to think what other lights they...
Some people call it a MIL, but that's that maintenance indicator lamp, but it doesn't say MIL. On the dash. That's just one of the acronyms we use. Service engine soon. You said that one? Check engine.
They're generally yellow. And what they mean, what the
Amber.
modern... Amber, thank you.
You're welcome.
What the modern meaning for that is the computer. There's several computers on a car, but the main computer has recognized an error with something in the vehicle. That could come on for a...
Well, hold on a second. Back up there. You say something in the vehicle. It's not going to detect that the wheel speed sensor's bad or that you've got... It's something in the vehicle related to the emissions control system is what's bad. That's why the light's there.
Well, some cars, like a Toyota when anything goes wrong, let's say it's a wheel, all the lights come on. They turn on 3 lights, not just one.
Right.
It's more of like a, hey, the Christmas tree is on type of thing, and it gets your attention. But it's going to tell you there is something wrong, and it may be something related to the transmission. It may be something related to the engine, the emissions, as you suggested. And so
that wasn't a suggestion.
Okay.
That is fact.
As you might have suggested, but it's not going to tell you your brakes are bad, not necessarily.
No. And as a matter of fact, even if it is an emissions control or a transmission problem, it doesn't tell you anything is bad. I mean, what it does, it's a communication system. The light is for the layperson to say, hey, I've got a problem, otherwise we wouldn't know it. So if you go look in your owner's manual, it's going to tell you, go to your nearest authorized blah, 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 which means go to...
We don't have any blah, blah, blahs here in town.
No? Okay.
Not at all.
Well, go to one of those if you can find one. I mean, so you want to go to your shop, and basically there's a problem. As long as the light's not flashing, if the light is flashing, that means we have an engine misfire, a constant misfire, and we have big problems. But otherwise, it just means there's something wrong. You've got to get into a shop to have that diagnosed. And what we do is then we use our equipment to interface with the computers on the car, and it's going to tell us an area of concern.
You know, the one thing that I hear people say is they go, oh, the gas cap light is on again. And they'll refer to the check engine light as the gas cap light because they've had a vehicle evaporative emissions problem where they went to the shop and the shop said, hey, it's just no big deal. We're going to turn the light off for now. It'll probably come back. You may have left the gas cap off. Because that's a real common reason that light comes on. And so some people, that happens. And the problem is now they refer to it as a gas cap light. But that light comes on for 200 different reasons. And that's a somewhat made-up number, but there's a lot of different reasons that light comes on. And the problem is it doesn't discriminate between, something you should worry about and maybe that evap emissions problem. So when you ignore it, there could be other things happening that you're unaware of that are stacking up behind the scenes.
Well, that's why I always tell customers, they'll say, well, can I ignore that? Yeah, I guess you can ignore it. It's not, sometimes it's not really a big deal. Maybe I don't know, it's a valve or a sensor, and it's really not affecting the performance of the car. But the problem with ignoring it is that then you don't know when there's a secondary problem. The light doesn't glow brighter. It doesn't, it's not an LED, so it doesn't have multiple colors. It doesn't flash twice to tell you that there's 2 problems. So you really just can't. I mean, you can ignore it, I guess, but you shouldn't. And if you're going to, not completely ignore it. I mean, we do have customers that they want to defer something. We'll check it next time the car comes in for a service. We'll check that. Is there another code? Is there something else happening? But it can always lead to something else as well.
Well, and lights are funny. There's red lights in your car, and there's yellow lights, or amber, as Matt wants to call them. But the red lights, if the red light goes off and you're on the freeway, yeah, you should pull over and get off the freeway, as long as you're in a safe place. Red lights are very bad. Check engine lights are more of a, hey, let's maybe slow down. Because maybe it's going to turn red, that kind of thing. So we don't want to ignore them. I put up on our Facebook page, if you go to bumpertobumperradio.com, you go to our Facebook link, which is on the bottom left, you're going to see a picture that I put up there, and it's basically all the lights from cars. They're legitimate lights, but they've named them for what they look like.
That's great.
Because you look at some of this stuff, like the the oil light, it is titled the oil light, the genie is ready. Which I think is funny. Or the bright light. It says comet.
Oh, comet.
It looks like a comet's coming. And some of these lights are really goofy looking, like the one for the is that a glow plug light, Matt? It says
so.
It says owl. It's hilarious. So if you want,
I like the recirculated air conditioning. Cyclone is in the car. The wind is blowing on the interior of the car.
In the battery light, drunk robot.
Speaking of drunk robots and batteries, I wonder if we'll have any drunk robots next weekend, Dave. Or it's not next week. It's 2 weeks. We're going to be out at the Interstate All Batteries store in Peoria. And you hear us talk about Interstate batteries all the time. It's just not car batteries that Interstate has. And to these all battery stores, it's batteries for everything, right, Dave?
Well, yeah, we're going to be doing the show live out there. And if you go to our website, bumpertobumperradio.com, you're going to see a link there. And the coolest thing is not only are they going to have Indian fry bread out there, they're going to have there's a 20% coupon for everything in the store, And it's amazing what all stuff whether you want your cell phone fixed, whether you want your medical device fixed, they have batteries for everything.
I've got a couple iPods that need some batteries. I think I'm going to hit them up on that discount that day.
Well, I think I'll get my wife something cool for Valentine's Day. It's the day before Valentine's Day. She needs one of those battery jumper box things.
I've heard.
So mark your calendars. That's February 13th. Interstate, the store is on 91st Avenue, about halfway between Olive and Northern right there. And we'll be out there from 10 a.m. to 1 o'clock, I believe, or 10 a.m. to noon. So we hope you can join us. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your bumper-to-bumper car guys. We'll be right back.
Matt and I share car repair tips weekly to help you keep your car safely on the road. And a few of them are easy to do.
Yep, you're right, Dave. And one of the easiest is to have a dependable battery that you can trust to get you started no matter what the conditions.
Interstate batteries are what we trust at Bumper to Bumper Radio. In fact, they're what we use at our own shops for our customers.
If you're like most people, your car is one of your most valuable investments. Make sure you take care of that investment with the power necessary to get you where you need to be. Interstate batteries are America's #1 replacement brand with the factory fresh guarantee, and they're easy to find at good shops everywhere.
Cars or trucks, Interstate has you covered with long life and performance in our harsh desert climates with products like Megatron Plus. It carries a 30-month free replacement and a 6-year performance guarantee.
Interstate batteries. No battery lasts longer. Check them out at interstatebatteries.com.
There's nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock for Kurt's Auto Repair. Family owned and operated and bumper-to-bumper radio preferred. We've been taking care of Valley families and their auto care needs with a perfect Better Business record for over 27 years. Come experience the difference our ASE Master Techs can make for you and your family at Kurt's Auto Repair. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue and Bell Road, or online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
Hi, I'm Kurt Morgan, owner of Shadow Mountain Auto Service in Phoenix. I'm also a college automotive instructor, and I've been a technician for over 30 years. In that time, I've seen all kinds of games and gimmicks in the auto repair business, the worst of which seems to be associated with transmissions. I think it's because, to most, including technicians, the inside of a transmission is a mystery. So when one of our valued customers has a transmission problem, we send them straight to Tri-City Transmission. No games, no gimmicks. That's Tri-City Transmission.
Who can you trust here in the Valley to repair your ride? This is Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and together we're your KTAR car guys. We're here to answer your phone calls and text to help you have a better overall car experience. So if you got questions, call us at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. Well, today we talked a little bit about check engine lights. If you got a question about your check engine light or your lack of check engine light, because that's something we didn't mention.
Well, any other light that's on the dash for that matter. I mean, there's a lot of stuff can come on.
And you don't know what it means? It probably means cyclone in the car.
Right.
So, well, let's get to the phones. Let's get to Bill in Scottsdale. He's got a 2009 Honda Accord. Hey, Bill, you're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. How can we help you?
Good morning. Yes, I've got a power steering pump that's leaking, and it needs to be replaced. Can you give me an approximate price on what it's going to cost to replace that pump?
I don't want to replace that pump. I think I want to reseal that pump.
Yeah, exactly, Bill. Those Dave and I are fighting over who's going to give you the answer in here. But those power steering pumps on the Hondas, very common problem is that they have a front seal that leaks on them, and we can put a new seal in that pump. Sometimes you can even do it without even taking the pump off the car.
Right.
Bill, has somebody looked at that car for you?
Yes, they have, yeah.
Okay, and did you get an estimate?
Yes.
Okay.
They said it's not leaking a lot, but it's leaking and dripping on the alternator, and that could be bad if the alternator gets full of too much oil.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, that's a common problem. The alternator's up on top of the engine, and the power steering pump's up on the front center of the engine typically, and then the alternator would be below that. But like you said, we can clean that up usually. A lot of times you just replace the seal, maybe flush out the fluid, get the system nice and clean. It's very important on the Hondas to make sure that you're using Honda power steering fluid as well.
You know what, Matt? You know why I like resealing them? Because I feel like we've got a fairly new Honda here, and we go get a rebuilt pump or something from XYZ Parts Company. It may not be as good as the one that we're taking off the car. That's just my belief.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's some of these rebuilders. You don't know what kind of garbage is floating. I mean, they're buying parts. They're
trash can overhaul.
They're not new, and they're just they buy cores. That's what they're called, from salvage yards. And at some point, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's certain cars and certain models where, it's not very expensive to replace the seal in that Honda. So it's just a better way to do it. And, if you're looking for a shop to get that done, you're in in Scottsdale, you could try Whitey's or Air Park up in the north side. But check us at bumpertobumperradio.com.
Well, thanks so much for the call, 602-277-5827. Let's go with Gary with a 2009 Ford Ranger. How can we help you, Gary? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, guys. I got a manual transmission Ford Ranger, and occasionally I don't, it stalls inadvertently because I didn't use the clutch properly. Twice now in the 6 years that I've had the car, I was not able to start the car after I stalled it inadvertently with not using the clutch gas combination.
So you stalled
like the keys. I clutch it and declutch it, clutch it, declutch it, put it in gear, out of gear. It may take 5 minutes, or it may go on the third try. But I broke down on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and there I stood in the middle of traffic for 5 minutes until the car turned over with the key, and off I went. What should I be looking for?
Hold on one second. I'm not quite sure I understand the problem, Gary. Is that the car, you just happen to stall the car, and then when you go to restart it, you get no action from the starter? Is that what happens?
Exactly.
Okay. So the two symptoms, I believe, Dave, I don't know if you're picking that up, but I believe that those would be unrelated. I mean, the car just stalled for some reason. It sounds to me like maybe there's a clutch.
Yeah, there's a switch on the clutch pedal that prevents the starter from running. So we could be starting to have an issue with that possibly, but I would make sure that pedal's all the way down. So make sure we're stroking that switch so it'll start up. Well,
and what we find at times, whether it's sometimes you have somebody come in and complain about low power on the car or the clutch not working, you see the floor mats all wadded up underneath where the pedal, and you're not getting full travel. So that's one thing to look at. Dave, have you ever had a car start up and what that deal is on the clutch? If you don't have the clutch lockout switch and the car's in first or second gear and you hit the key, that thing starts. I mean, it's going to lurch forward. If you're lucky enough or unlucky enough to have that sucker start up, that adds a whole nother level of excitement to your day.
My first Jeep, man, when I was 16, did not have one of those switches, and I've stained the seats.
Back, I used to do interior work when I was in high school and install new sunroofs in brand new Honda Accords. This was back in Virginia. And one day, I don't know why or what happened, but somebody reached into the car and they didn't have the clutch lockout switch then, and they hit that thing up. And that brand new car, and that fired like nothing. I mean, it's dragging the guy across the shop. He's screaming for dear life. I don't remember if it wadded the car up in the shop or not, but we've tested a couple of
that was a problem in the old days. I know Mike and Leon at the transmission shop back in the day, they had a car that ran away and took out some other cars. It wasn't pretty. Let's get to Sharon and Chandler on a 2009 Kia Rio. How can we help you, Sharon? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, guys. How you doing? Okay, I've got a 2009 Kia Rio, 130K on it. In the past 3 or 4 months, the check engine light's been coming on anywhere from 2 to 4 days. It goes back out. I had the codes run to 2 different places. It keeps coming up knock sensor. Took it to the dealer. They wanted about $258 to replace that. And they told me that the engine light still might be coming on after that. and they pointed out that the car's got a little bit of sludge where the oil is, and that might be setting off the sensor.
Okay. Well, Dave, you want to take the first shot at it, or we can explain what the knock sensor is, or why that?
So because we're explaining check engine lights today, explain why they come on and why they come off. And what happens is the reason they come on is the computer has recognized an error with one of the systems, and it's saying, hey, we got an issue. Well, it has to see the error so many times over and over again before it actually turns that light on, because they don't want those things going off for no reason. They call them annoyance check engine lights. So once they see the error so many times, if it doesn't see the error after a while, it'll turn that light back off until the next time it sees it again. So you're seeing it here for a couple days, and then it goes away. You're like, oh, the car must have fixed itself. They never do fix themselves, but the light will come on and off. I mean, you're hoping for the best. You're like, oh, good, it went out. I don't have to worry about it now. But the knock sensor is a sensor that helps control the engine. Now, if the knock sensor, it detects basically
it's going to
pinging and retards the timing. Basically.
Yeah, is what it does. The knock sensor is going to detect. We used to test the knock sensor by taking a ball peen hammer and tapping on the engine and watch the scan tool or watch the computer and see feedback from the engine. So the knock sensor is just picking up that noise that people associate with bad gas, that rattle, maybe in the summertime. So that is it's knock, but it's also NOx, which is one of the gases that we test for emissions. So the reason that's on is because you're failing emissions, and we've got a problem. We're either got the wrong fuel in the car, we've got carbon buildup in the engine, but for some reason that car's not running right.
Or the sensor's bad. And I think what they're saying is, hey, we'll put the sensor in, and then hopefully it goes away. But there may be more going on with the motor. I think they need more diagnostic.
I would say I want to come back to that, because sludge in the engine, maybe not. We'll touch on that a little bit more.
Well, remember to mark your calendars for the 13th. We're going to be out at Interstate Batteries. We've got a coupon on our website for 20% off everything in the store during the show. All kinds of neat stuff in there. When we come back, we're taking your phone calls at 602-277-5827.
$9 million. Last year, the Waste Management Phoenix Open, presented by the Auction Indian community, raised a record $9 million for charity. The Thunderbirds are proud to host the largest event on the PGA Tour. Each year, they hand out millions of dollars to Arizona charities, making a tremendous impact in the lives of so many. Help make a difference. Don't miss the greatest show on grass, February 1st through 7th at TPC Scottsdale.
Hi, Lisa Henry with Russ Lyon Sotheby's International Realty. Have you been thinking maybe the time is right to move, but you're not sure if you have enough equity in your home or if it really is a good time? Well, home values have increased significantly over the past few years, and interest rates are still historically low. For how long? No one knows. But for every 1% increase in the interest rate, the result is about a 10% loss in purchasing power. So it might be a really great time to sell your home and either upsize or downsize to a new home while the interest rates are still low. Contact me via my website at lisareneehenry.com or direct at 480-330-9530 for a no-obligation market valuation on your home and to hear about our global online marketing plan designed to sell your home quickly for top dollar. Again, that's lisareneehenry.com, 480-330-9530. Come experience the difference a truly customer-focused real estate agent can make.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A+ rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20+ years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
KTAR News, on air, 92.3 FM, online at KTAR.com, and on every device with the KTAR app. Arizona's breaking news and traffic, now.
KTAR News Time, 11:30. I'm Mike Sackley. 2 teens reported missing earlier this week have contacted their parents and told them they are safe. Phoenix police say Natalie Marion and Jared Smith are not in any danger and are currently considered runaways. Arizona votes. Will voter turnout determine the winners in Iowa? Democratic presidential contender Bernie Sanders telling voters there that he will win the caucus Monday if there is a large voter turnout.
We will lose the caucus on Monday night if there is a low voter turnout. And in many ways, Iowa becomes an example, a model for the rest of the country and for the future of American democracy.
Hillary Clinton has edged ahead of Sanders in recent Iowa polls. San Diego Chargers owner Dean Spano says the team and the city will work together on a plan for the team's future stadium.
We're going to be meeting with the city and the county, and we're going to be coming up with a logistical plan to put in place, and then we're going to move forward from there.
The Chargers will stay in San Diego in 2016. They had been in talks with the L.A. Rams to share a stadium in Inglewood set to open in 2019. President Barack Obama plans to meet with Muslim community members Wednesday in a public show of support. The White House says Obama plans to visit the Islamic Society of Baltimore to hold talks with Muslim community members. Now let's get a check on traffic in the KTAR Traffic Center. Here's John Michaels.
Thank you, Mike. An accident on I-10 eastbound near Queen Creek in the median should be in the clearing stage. Still watch for some possible slowing in the area. ADOT cameras are showing moderate volume, not too heavy as you approach the valley from the south side. Also a crash reported 59th Avenue at Encanto. And in Scottsdale, police are working to clear the accident Shea at 74th Street. Still active. That's a quick look at traffic. I'm John Michaels, KTAR News.
Thanks, John. Sunny skies today with a high of 76. Clear tonight, the low 50. And looking at sunny skies Sunday with a high of 74. Right now in Peoria, 64 degrees. Weather brought to you by Howard Air. Whether replace or repair, call Howard Air. Matt and Dave, KTAR's Car Guys on Bumper to Bumper. Back with you next. I'm Mike Sackley, KTAR News.
Arizona, an amazing state for outdoor recreation and exploration. Full of mountains, lakes, streams, forests, and of course, our beautiful deserts. Hunting, fishing, camping. If it's about the outdoors, we've got it covered. KTAR invites you to Get Outdoors with Mike Russell today at noon. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and on every device with the KTAR app.
Ouch! Being out of tune is no fun, and maybe even a little painful. Hi, this is Lee Weatherby, owner of Accurate Automotive in Mesa. At Accurate, we are a family-owned and operated one-stop automotive repair shop that specializes in building long-term relationships that are in tune with your needs, not ours. We've been recognized nationally as one of the top shops in the country, but for over 20 years, our priority has stayed focused on providing quality automotive service and repair at a fair price. I invite you to come in and see the difference an in-tune relationship can make for you and your car. With our free courtesy inspection, a $49 value, we feel it is well worth our investment in you because we believe good long-term relationships start early with your first walk through our doors. Accurate Automotive, home of friends serving friends, just off Broadway and Robson in Mesa since 1992. For more information, check us out online at AccurateAutomotiveAZ.com today.
Matt and I share car repair tips weekly to help you keep your car safely on the road, and a few of them are easy to do.
Yep, you're right, Dave. And one of the easiest is to have a dependable battery that you can trust to get you started no matter what the conditions.
Interstate batteries are what we trust at Bumper to Bumper Radio. In fact, they're what we use at our own shops for our customers.
If you're like most people, your car is one of your most valuable investments. Make sure you take care of that investment with the power necessary to get you where you need to be. Interstate batteries are America's #1 replacement brand with the factory fresh guarantee, and they're easy to find at good shops everywhere.
Cars or trucks, Interstate has you covered with long life and performance in our harsh desert climates with products like Megatron Plus. It carries a 30-month free replacement and a 6-year performance guarantee.
Interstate batteries. No battery lasts longer. Check them out at interstatebatteries.com.
Few cities are as car-centric as Phoenix, and this is the show that'll help you to better understand that machine you depend on to get around the valley. It's Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and the KTAR app for Android and iPhone.
Well, look down at the dash right now. Do you have a check engine light on? I hope not. But if you do, you're listening to the right place. You're listening to Matt Allen and Dave Riccio. We're here every single Saturday on Bumper to Bumper Radio to help you with your car, with those mysteries when you have lights on and you're not sure what's happening, or for that matter, anything that is troubling with your car. You can call us at 602-277-5827. It's 602-277-KTAR. You can also text us at 411-923 as long as you're not driving.
I'm just looking here on our Facebook page. We've got up a picture of all the possible warning lights that can come on your car with the wrong definition. The definition is more what they look like versus what they actually mean. So the ABS light says flex your abs. And
I need that one to come on in my car.
And then the two arrows left or right just says everywhere. Comet, let's see. Your arms are melting. That's the seatbelt light. It's exactly what it looks like. I mean, who came up with this stuff? And that's the thing is like the tire pressure TPMS light. To me, the first time I saw it, I'm like, that looks like a horseshoe.
TPMS is wonders, do I want to go home? Am I going to have
and what it is it's a cross-section view of the tire, and you're looking at it, but to the common person, it looks just like a horseshoe with a little exclamation mark in the middle.
You see
Excited horseshoe, I guess.
You ever see that, I think it's BMW commercial, where the guy pulls in the driveway, and he's doing the texting back and forth with his wife, and his mother-in-law, she says the mother-in-law is there, and he just pulls out of the driveway and it talks back to him, where the beep are you going? I thought maybe the TPMS was like a PMS light, just letting you know, don't go home.
Don't want to come home today. The little defrost light says like ghost or something. Check that out if you got a minute. It's on our Facebook page, bumpertobumperradio.com, bottom left side. You're going to find our Facebook link. The other thing you can find at Bumper to Bumper Radio is a list of great auto repair shops. We talk all the time about orphan customers. They go to shop to shop to shop, and we're just not big proponents of that. It does not help you have a better overall car experience. The best way to get that is to go find a home and someone that's taking care of your car. And if you do have a check engine light on, they can stay in touch and say, we need to worry about this, or I think it should always be noteworthy, but just to have a light on forever and never do anything about it is not good, because they don't light any brighter when they're starting to stack up with problems.
Speaking of which, if you're buying a used car, this is one of the things we see a lot on the used car when we do used checkouts. Not only does that check engine light come on when you have a problem, it also comes on when you cycle the key on the initial startup doing a self-test. So anytime you're looking at a car, when you turn that ignition switch on, the check engine light should illuminate for maybe 2 or 3 seconds, and then it will dim itself out, come back on momentarily when the car starts and shuts off. So that's just a good reminder to check if you're out car shopping, especially.
Yeah, and if you don't see that check engine light, somebody may be doing a little mischief there and trying to hide a problem, because you wouldn't go buy a car with a light on, would you? I'm going to go with Joanne in Mesa on a 2004 Honda Civic. Timing belt question. How can we help you, Joanne?
I have a 2004 Honda Civic with approximately 170,000 miles on it, and my mechanic said that I've never had my timing belt replaced and that I should have it done. And it's going to cost about $800. Is that something that I should really look into?
For sure, if it's never been done. That belt on that car is probably scheduled for a 105,000-mile service interval. Have you been going to this mechanic for a long time, or how does he?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when have you had the car since it was new?
Yes, brand new.
Okay. So if you're able to confirm that you have not, in fact, had the timing belt replaced, I would definitely get that done, right, Dave? I mean, you're on borrowed time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the only reason it's lasted this long because she's living right. She must be doing a good job.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they can go over, but when they fail, it's catastrophic. So,
and $800 doesn't sound unreasonable. When you're talking to him, it's a Civic. There's a water pump that's driven by that timing belt. We might want to consider replacing that, because if the belt hasn't been done already, chances are that's the original water pump with 170,000 miles on it. So there's some other things, too, that you may want to consider. So when you're talking to him, Joanne, bring that to his attention. You just ask him, is there anything else we should be doing at the same time?
Well,
because you don't want to take the front end of the engine off to do a belt and not change the other things that are going to go bad.
And I guess I would drill it down, just not is there anything else, but specifically ask him, what about the water pump? What about the idlers? What about the tensioners? It's called a timing belt component kit, and all of those components together should be replaced. And then does it make sense to, like Dave said, is there anything else that makes sense? Because quite honestly, $800 seems a little low for that timing belt.
I was thinking about that because we talked about phone call pricing last week. Joanne, if you got in the phone book and you called around, the next shop you're going to call is go, oh, yeah, timing belt, no problem, $350. And $350, but that's a timing belt a la carte.
That's it.
That's all you get, and that would be, it's not really
not a good job. So, Joanne, definitely get it done. Stick with your guy, and I think you'll be in good hands.
Well, let's go with Shelley with a 2006 Infiniti QX56. How can we help you, Shelley? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
I am trying to figure out if I should keep this or if it's going to start nickel and diming me. I took it to Infiniti because I wanted to get a extended warranty on it. It only has 70,000 miles on it, and I bought it used. I may have paid too much for it. I paid $16,000 for it. But it looks brand new inside and out and only 70,000 miles. But I took it to Infiniti, and they said I have the oil cooler is leaking, the rear differential is starting to leak. They've noticed a couple oil leaks here and there that was their verbiage. They said oil cooler is leaking, rear differential starting to leak, it needs brakes.
Hey, Shelley, what part of town are you in?
Mesa.
You're over in Mesa. Okay. One of the things that that doesn't sound like anything dramatic is going on with that vehicle, but sometimes this just happened to my friend. He took his car in for a recall on a Honda, and he went in there, and I had the car in my shop literally probably 2 weeks earlier. Everything looked great on the car. We fixed something for him. He's up there getting a recall done, and they gave him $6,000 worth of stuff that needed to be done on his car.
They were up to like $2,000 on me.
Took a perfectly good car and scared the heck out of him. And he said, "Hey, Dave, what do you think of this list?" I said, "Well, let's just bring that car and let's just go over them one at a time." We do have a shop. We've got some shops you can find at bumpertobumperradio.com where you can take the car in there. And if you want to get a second opinion on that stuff, and I think you should, go in there and get a complete vehicle evaluation. But basically, an Infiniti is a Nissan product with 70,000 miles. I'm not worried about that car nickel and diming her at all. I wouldn't be worried about it in the least bit.
No, and she did mention some things though. She mentioned brakes. So any car you buy is going to need brakes at some point. So that you kind of have to separate the normal, which is maintenance, from the repairs, which are things that break down like an oil leak. Now, I know on that Infiniti or similar Nissan engine, the oil cooler O-ring leaks all the time on those. But that's the other thing I want to say. Quantify that leak. Show me something. I mean, Dave, like you say, you can buy a brand new pair of tennis shoes and you go run 5 miles in them. They've got some wear on them. But does that mean they need to be replaced?
No,
again?
They're barely broke in.
I mean, Shelley, are you keep an eye out in your driveway? Are you seeing a drip or two in the driveway occasionally? Rear differential leaking? Those things usually don't puke out. I mean, they might have a little. I would call it sweat. So I want you to really take that car and go to a bumper to bumper shop. It doesn't sound like you have a real relationship anywhere. Find one of these guys, have them give you a second opinion. Come out and show me. I love to do show and tell at my shop. I want you to see this and understand. I have people all the time that say, well, I wouldn't know what I'm looking at anyway. Well, that's perfect because I really want you to, because then you can leave here and say, gosh, they showed me this and I saw the oil leak. Or, in fact, they showed that to me and it wasn't even leaking oil. Come on, it had a little bit of enough sweat to cover, to make the dust stick to the oil.
Some people get overzealous, at some of this stuff, and we rate leaks on a scale of 1 to 5, just like a hurricane. 5, it's pouring out. 1 is like a little dust around a seal, and you don't need to worry about it. It's not an issue. All seals will have that at some point. So, hopefully that helps. And I'm not as scared of that car at all. I think it's still got a lot of years to it. Let's go ahead and go with Matthew in Gilbert on a 2011 Tundra. How can we help you, Matthew? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi. Well, I don't have a check engine light on, but I think I should because I have a sporadic problem where the truck starts and the RPMs dropped to like 200, and it sounds like the truck is barely even on, and as soon as I put it in drive or reverse, it dies. And then I'll restart it, I'll rev it up, and once it gets warmed up, it'll be fine, but it's happened probably about 4 times over the past 6 months.
How many miles are on your Tundra?
140.
140,000 miles?
Yeah.
Well, I have a Tundra, and I've never had any of those problems. So, low engine RPM. I mean, it sounds to me, is that on first startup too, cold? Or is it
Not really. It's done it once on a cold startup, and it's done it once on a warm. So I'd say no. It's so sporadic. I can't, take it in the dealer and say what's going on because nothing happens when I take it there.
Right, exactly. Well, the intermittent problems are always difficult, or not always, but they can be difficult to find. Just a couple guesses. I mean, that truck is a throttle by wire, so there's no cable that's attaching the throttle cable or the throttle pedal to the actual opening the butterfly underneath the hood. It's done electronically, and there's a motor that opens and closes that flap. And what's happening there is it's just allowing a certain amount, a predetermined amount of air to enter the engine, and that's what's going to set the idle speed. Sometimes we see cars with the carboned up or coked up dirty throttle body, and those can be cleaned out. Sometimes you have where that motor wears out, and it's just not responding or acting fast enough. It could be something totally different where you don't have a bad part at all. You've got a dirty connection. There could be a number of different things causing that problem. I think we just have to see if we can have it happen more often, duplicate it with some tools hooked up to the car possibly. It doesn't necessarily have to be the dealer fixing that either. It sounds to me like it's well beyond its warranty time with 140,000 on it.
Well, I'm going to go to one of these texts here real quick, Matt. We've got a gentleman that's changing out some struts on his Pontiac Vibe, and he's using, what I call quick struts or ready struts. So it's going to have the, the strut mounts and the new spring and all those. And he's asking, is there any advice, he's doing this job in his driveway, that you would give him? Jack stands. Jack stands. You want to be safe. You don't want to be underneath that car, so you want to have a good jack and jack stands. You're going to need to get an alignment afterward. You're going to change the struts, especially with that's going to have new springs, because what he's talking about is the strut assembly, the whole 9 yards, which is really the good way to do the job, and it makes it so the homeowner, if you will, hairy homeowner can do that himself. You want, and make sure you're doing it right. Be careful. Just because you see that big bolt right there doesn't mean that's the one that comes off. You could be unleashing the power of a very heavy spring in your face. So just be cautious that way. Some of that stuff's on YouTube. If you're one of those people that wants to take that on in the driveway, you could YouTube it, probably find something like that on there. So good luck with that. When we come back, we're taking more phone calls at 602-277-5827. You listen to Matt and Dave, your KTAR Car Guys, on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, I'm Scott, General Manager with Whitey's Auto Repair here in South Scottsdale. We built a reputation for quality auto service and repair for over 45 years, and our customers have come to trust us for our recommendations. We value that trust, and that's why when it comes to transmissions, for the past several decades, we have been recommending Tri-City Transmission. They have yet to disappoint. I feel so strongly about it, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Why would you? Google them online today at tricitytransmission.com. Go where the pros go. Tri-City Transmission.
There's nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock for Kurt's Auto Repair. Family owned and operated and bumper-to-bumper radio preferred. We've been taking care of Valley families and their auto care needs with a perfect Better Business record for over 27 years. Come experience the difference our ASE Master Techs can make for you and your family at Kurt's Auto Repair. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue and Bell Road, or online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
Home run king Henry Aaron says it took him 17 years to get 3,000 hits in baseball and only one afternoon on the golf course. Golf has its ups and downs, and we cover them all. Around the world and right here in the Valley, the Bunker to Bunker Golf Show takes you inside the game. So join me, Greg Ellis, along with Marty Monahan and Jim Hill, Saturday mornings from 7 to 9 on Arizona Sports 98.7.
Bunker to Bunker. Golf lives here.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A+ rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20+ years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
This is Bumper to Bumper Radio, KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Mark your calendars for February 13th. Matt and I are going to be live out at Interstate Battery off of 91st Avenue, halfway between Northern and Olive. And what's cool, if you go to our bumpertobumperradio.com website, there's a link on there that shows the details of the event. Click on that link. 20% off anything in the store, and it's not just a car battery for your car. Some of the things they have 1-amp battery maintainers. That's something you can plug in if your car sits, and it keeps the battery charged just with a little kind of a trickle. And normally those things are $40. They're selling for $26. He's like a rookie today.
I know I'm not pushing these buttons, but those are cool. You know, you're one of the Sun City people, a part-time winter visitor. You leave for extended periods at a time. Those little trickle chargers or maintainers are great.
Very cool. They got a 1.5 amp. The other thing is keyless entry batteries. If you got a remote for your car and you click the unlock button and it doesn't really happen, or you got to get right next to the car to make it work, you can get some. They got batteries for $4 a piece.
Yeah, bring them both.
Get those things fixed. Cell phones, tablets. I mean, so Interstate. You know, obviously, if you want to get your wife a new battery for a car for Valentine's Day, great time to do that at 20% off. She's really going to love you for that. Anyhow, and not only that, they got fry bread out there, and that's a big deal. They got the fry bread food truck. That's all I want. I want fry bread. So anyhow, we got to get to the phones. First up, we're going to go with Travis in Mesa on an 03 Tacoma. How can we help you, Travis? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. Hey, Travis?
Travis is not there, maybe.
Did I say something?
Apparently not.
It's like a drop phone call. Hey, Travis.
There you go, Travis.
Sorry about that. Bad service. Thanks for all you guys do on the weekend.
Oh, yeah, you bet.
Quick, I got a brake light coming on my 03. It's only got 72,000 miles on it. I checked brake pads. I checked fluids. I don't have TP, tire pressure monitoring sensors, so I'm not certain what else will cause the brake light to come on.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a number of different things that are and I'm assuming it's a red brake light, right, Travis?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, I mean, those are the first things I've been checking would be the fluid level, you know, in the brake master cylinder. That's going to be the most obvious and the most common thing to come on. You know, and obviously if the pads are worn out, the fluid's going to be low in that master cylinder. That's the most common, but there's other switches and sensors in there that.
Yeah, that's got to have ABS. I mean, I'm just drawing a blank. It's got to have ABS, but you would think you'd have the amber light on too. It could be something as simple as the parking brake switch.
Yeah.
Is still activated,
or that float switch in the master cylinder is not working.
Could be, or it could be, or even that the float itself has sunk and is no longer floating. That could easily be the problem too, Travis. So you're just going to have to do, a couple basic checks. You know, I interviewed a technician the other day, and he said it doesn't matter as long as I have a wiring diagram and tools, I can figure out any car, and that's really true. You've got to look. You know, Travis, if you want to look at a wiring diagram and find out where does the power come from to make that red light come on, and then you just start following the road, and you're going to get back to where that is happening in the system of the vehicle, and it's just one of those things that's going to take some time and figure it out.
Let's get Lewis in Phoenix on an 04 Monte Carlo. Go ahead, Lewis. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Well, basically, my checking light came on. And I went ahead and took it into AutoZone, and, so they told me that it was the oxygen sensor, so we played that thing up. And they told me to just drive it, so I did. And come to find out that I had to get tags on it, so I had to take it into emissions. That was about a week later, so the light went off and, it went away and so forth. So when I take it into the emissions, these guys, they'd hook up their gadget underneath, and they come back and tell me, well, it failed. I said, okay, well, why did it fail? And they say, well, did you have your check engine light on before? I said, yeah, but that was like a week and some days before. And I said, so it went off. And they said, well, you have 5 sensors on this particular model, and we're not getting any backfeed from any of the sensors. So I'm thinking, okay, but the car runs good. I mean, it doesn't rattle, doesn't do anything, and the check line it's not on.
This is almost what we decided we were going to talk about, either emissions today or check engine lights today, because they really go hand in hand. But one of the things that really commonly people don't understand is that the car is self-testing. So it runs tests on the evaporative system. It runs tests on the O2 sensor system. It runs tests, and so just because you maybe got a new sensor in there and it's working, well, it doesn't mean the car has run that test and the test has been passed, and they call those monitors or readiness monitors. So there is about, I think, is it 6 monitors?
8.
8 monitors that have to set in the vehicle in order for them to do the test. Because at the emissions station, they're not really testing your car. All they're doing is plugging into it to see that your car ran the tests and passed the test. And right now it's saying, hey, we haven't passed the test yet. So we're not
and the other thing, too, where I got a little bit confused is, so I'm sure he replaced the sensor, the code was cleared, and this is where we get to the situation of you have to take your readiness monitors. You could take a perfectly running, brand new car right off the car lot, erase the codes or disconnect the battery, and that car will fail emissions until it's had time to run through and do all of these tests. But he also said that the emissions guys said, that it's not reading all the sensors. I think what he's talking about, the monitors haven't run. So, Lewis, I think the best thing that you can do is you could Google drive cycle readiness monitors or how to pass drive cycle readiness monitors. You need to get out on the freeway, do some driving, on and off the gas, vary from 45, 55 up to 60, and coast back down 45, and try not to obstruct traffic, and drive in various driving conditions, more than a half a tank of gas, and see if you can get all those monitors to run. Then you have to go through emissions test again, because I don't think he failed. I bet they said it's not ready.
Well, we've got Jerry and Doug that we didn't get to. We're going to get you off air. Thanks for joining us today. Remember to mark your calendars for the 13th. Thanks, Bree, for running the dials. If you're looking for a friendly, honest, competent auto repair shop, you can find them at bumpertobumperradio.com. And while you're there, be sure to like Matt and myself on Facebook. Remember never to text and drive. Is there anything else you want to part with here, Matt? Oh.
I don't know. I'm getting ready to go home already.
Hey, you got phone calls to take here.
I know. I was rushing to get to them, but no, we should just everybody drive. Say, hey, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, Barrett Jackson. I know it's on television on Velocity Channel, but there's nothing like going out there, seeing the cars going across the block, and lots of money changing hands. So do that to keep yourself car busy this weekend.
See you next week.